Pinto. I'm back on the warpath. I'm ready for this week, man.
Are we ready?
After 0-3, what have the Chiefs done? What have they done, man?
I don't know.
They beat two terrible teams and a Kyle Bowler-led Raiders team.
And Palmer.
All right, and Carson Palmer. 3 wins in a row, man. It's time to break out the headdress, jump back on the bandwagon, and at least be a semi-homer. All right, I can't be a total homer yet, but a semi-homer.
It's fine with me.
All right, man. What do we have going on this week?
I'm talking the born-again Christian Ponder. Christian Ponder. This boy is good. I'm telling you what, he is definitely our good for the week. This kid came in against the defending champions. I'm not going to say he lit it up, but he showed great poise from the pocket. He threw a bomb deep to, I don't even know who the receivers are in Minnesota anymore.
Was it Michael Jenkins?
Was it Michael Jenkins? It might have been.
I think
Former
so.
Falcon.
Yes.
Michael Jenkins, the bomb down the sideline. Ponder's a real deal. McNabb, I'm sorry. Time's ending. Time's time to go. It's Ponder time. Leslie Frazier had to make the move. I like it a lot. He's got the best running back in the game. Keep giving it to that beast. Keep feeding it to him. Peterson can carry the load. 25, 26 carries a game. I like Ponder. That's definitely the good for week 7.
Now, as for the bad, as much as I want to give all the credit to the Chiefs, the Raiders, just when you think, now don't get me wrong, it is difficult for any team to lose their starting quarterback. No team in the NFL can lose their starting quarterback and not feel it in some way. But if I'm the Raiders, all right, I understand you start Kyle Bowler. I do understand that part. You just gave up a first and a second round pick for an older guy. You don't want to take a chance of getting him hurt if he's not ready to play. I get that. But then you're down 21-0, and you say, hey, Carson, get warmed up. Maybe you can bring us back from down 21-0.
You're in.
Yeah, so you weren't ready to start the game. We want to prevent an injury. You don't know all the playbook. Palmer after the game said that they were limited to 10 pass plays. Now look, I know the Chiefs are beat up. I know they're missing Eric Berry. But 10? Come on.
That's freaking hard.
Yeah, like, dude, you have to use more than 10 pass plays on Madden. You know? So all I'm saying, man, is that, like I said, I'm happy with how the Chiefs have fought back. The effort the Chiefs have given a bit has been phenomenal. But Matt Castle had a 38.3 quarterback rating, and you still win by 28. That's a beatdown, man. That is a beatdown. So all I'm saying, the Raiders moving forward, whatever they decide, they gotta stick with it. They can't do this nonsense of play Bowler half a game and put Palmer in. Now I do think the bye week will be a good time for Palmer. He'll catch up. He'll play, and the Raiders are still a contender in the AFC West. Now as for the ugly, Jason, if there's one thing I hate, it's getting kicked in the balls.
Oh, who got kicked in the balls?
Packers-Vikings.
Packers-Vikings. We got to talk about it, ladies and gentlemen. Cover your eyes if you don't want to see it, but it's bad.
It's blatant.
Blatant. It's bad. It's anatomically correct. You watch the clip, you see the highlight. Robinson is getting manhandled on the line of scrimmage. He gets thrown to the ground. He says it was unintentional. He just puts his foot right up into the groin area. Last I checked, they're not wearing flip-flops out there. They're wearing studded cleats.
Yes.
This dude, hopefully he has kids, because after that shot, it's going to be pretty ugly. I don't like that. There's no room for it in the NFL. There's no room for that in professional sports at all. You want to get him, chop block him, cut him, blindside him, ear hole him, whatever. There's no room for that. That's definitely ugly. You guys, it was a competitive game. I understand it's a heated rivalry, but there's no room for that in the game. Dude was fined $20,000 today. Every bit of it he deserves. That's going to be great money going to the retired players, the funds for that. But that's definitely my ugly for the week, Travis. That's bad, man.
His family tree is now streamlined.
Yeah, we're talking Sprouty.
Yeah, that was one of the dirtiest. You know, I'm sure that goes on the bottom of some NFL piles, but that was just too out in the open too.
The ref's standing right there. Hello!
I heard one fan say it best. He would have been disqualified even in professional wrestling.
I agree.
Too blatant.
I agree.
Moving on, your rant for the week, and we had to know this was coming. I'm wearing a headdress, so I can't get on you for being a homer. But we're gonna listen to you blow up Tim Tebow.
It starts with a T and it ends with a bow. People, I'm telling you what. Listen to this guy for a minute. It's ugly. You know what? There's a lot of people out there who married ugly women. But you know what? At the end of the day, they still married them, okay? It's ugly, but they got it done, alright? That's how it works. Tim Tebow, he may not set his feet. He may not complete the tight spiral that Mr. Rogers in Green Bay is completing. But Tebow gets it done. I kid you not, it was the worst 3 quarters of football I've ever witnessed in my whole life. It was terrible. If Tim Tebow can play 4 quarters like he played the 4th quarter, this dude would be lights out. Lights out, okay? I'm telling you what, it is crazy how Tim just turned it on in the 4th quarter. I got this game on my TV, I'm watching it, I'm getting texts from people, blowing my phone up about how terrible Tebow is. I'm honestly saying to you that it was bad. It was bad. But the dude turned it on in the 4th quarter, 9 of 13 in the 4th quarter. The touchdown of Demaryius Thomas, which watch out for that kid, 6'4", 229. He's going to be the real deal. That's why we shipped Lloyd out. Tebow is coming. I don't like the matchup this week versus the Lions. Is Tebow the future? I don't know. Is Tebow the long-term answer? I don't know. I do know that the guy won. He's 2-2 as a starter. He beat the Texans. He beat the Dolphins. But you know what? He was also within a Hail Mary beating the Chargers twice. He lost to the Raiders in his first start ever. Give the guy some time. I don't want to hear suck for luck quite yet. I don't want to hear Landry Jones, and I certainly don't want to hear Matt Barkley's name.
He has a terrible haircut.
It's
Matt Barkley, yes.
It's
Awful
bad.
haircut.
It is bad.
Yes.
Yeah. But Tebow, I'm telling you. Cutler, Tebow. I failed algebra, but I do know this. Tebow is greater than Crybaby Cutler. I'm done.
I will say one thing. First of all, your reference to Lights Out Merriman, just so everybody out there is aware, since Sean Merriman was caught with using steroids, how many seasons has he finished?
None.
Correct. Just another math lesson.
Just saying. We're just saying.
For this week's picks. Now, on paper, or in theory, the Pittsburgh-New England matchup seems like a good one, but I don't know I've ever seen a quarterback own a team like Tom Brady owns the Pittsburgh Steelers.
He definitely owns them. He owns them like a Giselle Bundchen. I'm telling you what, no underwear model. This, flat out, is the truth. Tom Brady owns the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't care if it's at Heinz. I don't care if it's at Gillette. Tom Brady is going to go to, is it New England or Pittsburgh? I'm not sure.
It's in Pittsburgh.
It's in Pittsburgh.
It wouldn't matter if they played on
It doesn't matter. I do like the Steelers offense versus the New England defense. That's going to be a shootout. It's going to be high scoring. Tune in, get your fantasy roster set. There's a lot of scoring in this game. I just think that Tom Brady is going to really, really exploit that secondary. No James Harrison. Woodley can't carry the show. Timmons is not an OLB. He's a stud in the middle. He's a run and hit guy. He's right up there with Patrick Willis. I just think that this is a tight game, but in the end, it's too much Brady. You saw what Brady did to the Cowboys the other week. I like the Patriots in this one by 6. It's a close one.
6, man. Well,
6.
One thing I will say is, now obviously year to year things rarely ever translate, but I remember last year, the Patriots were putting that much of a beat down on the Steelers. Then in the fourth quarter, they pretty much sat on the ball. They ended up winning by 13, and they didn't have to score in the fourth. I mean, I think this one, like you said, could have a lot of points. Moving on to Dallas and Philadelphia, I don't know what to make of this game because I do think the Eagles played a little bit better against the Redskins, but at the same time, their best player was Rex Grossman. He forced the ball into spaces he shouldn't have.
What did you just say?
Rex Grossman was the Eagles' best player that game. I mean, he made 3 nice throws to Kirk Coleman, except he's the free safety for the Eagles. That's a problem. Again, right. Against Dallas, I think Dallas can run the ball on them. I think Dallas, Murray came in. Now, I'm not saying he's going to go for 200 yards, but he'll do enough to keep the offense balanced. the Eagles have no answer for Des Bryant. Austin Mawa I still think he's a good corner if you let him play physical man-to-man, but Bryant's going to be a problem. And whoever, don't tell me Cromartie or Samuels can stop Miles Austin either. That's going to be a tough matchup. Their linebackers are terrible. Jason Witten, not as athletic as he once was, still one of the best in the game. I'm going to take the Cowboys by 10. I'm thinking 30-20. And DeMarcus Ware gets Vic 2.5 times.
That's it. I'm telling you what, Penn State aside, but Sean Lee is playing possessed.
He is.
This kid is just ridiculous. He is all over the field. You watch the Cowboys games, he is in on every play. He's got a nose for the ball. Sean Lee, I think they found their middle linebacker for years and years to come.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. And lastly, the Monday night game, Chargers at Chiefs. Now, I'm wearing a headdress. I probably look borderline ridiculous for someone that's not sitting in Arrowhead Stadium. Now,
Richfield.
I have to pick the Chiefs, obviously. Now, last year going into the opening game at Arrowhead Stadium, that was before anyone thought the Chiefs were going to win more than 4 games. That was a real catapult for them. That game, I think, gave them a lot of confidence. They pulled out an ugly win. Now, my thing is I think this game means a lot more to the Chiefs than it does the Chargers. Now, I say that for multiple reasons. One, this is the type of game that can build their confidence. When they lost Charles and Barry and Moeaki, they were absolutely shell-shocked. The first 2 weeks of the season, the Kansas City Chiefs were without a doubt the worst team in the NFL. They could not recover from those losses. I think they've regrouped. Some other guys have stepped out. They're not as explosive, but they are getting Jonathan Baldwin back in the lineup. Now, I'm going to take the Chiefs by 7, but it's not so much because I think the Chiefs still haven't recovered from losing the guys they have. But if there's one thing I know is that when a team starts to self-destruct, for whatever reason, it seems that it's rarely fixed. And the thing we know about the Chargers is that whether it's their offense turning the ball over, whether it's a big play on special teams, whether it's their defense giving up a big play, they just blow it at the most inopportune moments. They just find a way. And I think if there's one thing that can be said about the Chiefs that's good, is that they do fight. They fight, they scratch, they claw. They've tried to make
Scout.
They do scout people. Yes, that's very true. But I think they find a way to stay in games. They haven't made up for the guys they've lost, but the guys that are still there aren't just going to roll over and die. And I think that's how you beat the Chargers, because if you keep them in a close game, Norv Turner will find a way to lose the game for them. So I think the Chiefs win 24-17, but it's a lot more ugly than the score indicates. Castle will probably throw for less than 200 yards. He'll throw a bonehead interception, but Matthews will play and fumble in a bad situation.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for Week 8. We really appreciate you tuning in. Jeff's got a headdress on.
I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready for Monday night. Let's do this.
No Hank, but we got the Indian. You ready for some football? That's Week 8. Pinto, Fawva, out.